Hey guys, this isn't just like a motor controller. This is like a full closed loop system I've been working on for weeks. Today I'm just going to show you the motor controller side, the motor demo, and the little modular control box that I designed for this, and just kind of show you all the hardware aspects of it. Coming up in the next videos, I'm going to be going in deeper into some of these things as I put them onto the Rover project. Perfect. Welcome to Aquatics Live YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. All right guys, I'm going to show you the motor controller box that I was been building. This is a instead of my mammoth board that I ran on my last one, I'm setting these up as modular segments to the wheels. We got XT60s on here, a 2-pin and a 3-pin, the 3 pins for the 3-phase wires. We're using the normal outputs that I've just coupled together with the cable that comes with this board. This is the ZS X11H. Anyhow, these are actually really good alone, but I am going to do some modification to it. If you're not going to drive over 50 volts, then this is perfectly fine. It's like 63 volts. And these are low ESR caps on here, so they're pretty decent already. But I did pick up some, I picked up some Rubycon 330 microfarad capacitors. These are low ESR ones as well, but these are name brand Rubycons. So I am going to upgrade these, and they're 80 volts. These are 63 on here. I just want to give myself some room. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to install these on like a donor board that I have. I've stole chips off of here, but I'm just going to go through the soldering because I've been asked in other videos, hey, can you show how you did this? So I'm going to at least solder one onto here to show you what I'm up to. It's not too difficult, but might as well show you what's up. These modular boxes, what I used is RJ45 connectors and a little breakout board. So I have a breakout board over here, and then you can see there's one over here. So what I'm going to do with the full setup is I'm going to build a box for this board with all 4 wheels having their own modular connectors, and then you have nice network cables kind of running between them. I've done the signals on these, so the encoders and the encoder and temperature sensor are on better wiring on it, a twisted pair. So those values are going as inputs directly from the motor to the controller here, and putting these temperature sensors into the motor as well. So like this motor here, it has this extra wire that is it's actually an encoder signal on its own, but it's very noisy. So I didn't end up using this. I'm using the encoder signal from the board, which uses all 3 of these feedback phases and converts them together, so I get 90 pulses per revolution, which is technically, this should be able to do that too, but it's so noisy that I wasn't able to pick up much on it. So this kind of stuff, you see this extra wire hanging here, this is just on the ground right now because I've been doing tests on it, so I'll be pulling that out later. But I'll run you through on there. There's a reason I have this pigtail over here, which is a ground. I'm going to bond these together for my tests so they're on the same ground. Anyway, I think that's pretty much the overview of this. And so we'll just jump into some of these mods and things that I'm doing on this. Okay, we're going to jump right into the more exciting part of this. I do have this all wired up here. Got our phase wires hooked up. This is our Hall effect information here. I have a ground wire pulled into here. This bonds the ground from the control board over to the driver board over here. So then I'm running like a Cat 5 cable between here with these RJ45 connectors. So it's kind of, this is a modular setup. I'm running running off my old battery pack, which is the 32 volt pack, the XT60 on the end here. So we'll get that plugged in first. And the goal of this one is, I'm going to show you up on the O-scope, is this encoder reading, which is kind of like we need that for the control, for the closed loop system, in order to adjust each wheel's speed based on, you know, to tell how fast you're actually moving and drive it stronger or less so you can actually keep moving. You can do it without it, but it's pretty boring. So we'll get this hooked up. Should have hooked that before I've turned on the power, but okay. And for the board power, I'm using that. It's pretty handy nowadays. We have a USB-C to a 12 volt adapter. It's a little battery bank. It's way better than it used to be. And this this little development board needs more than what one of these USB ports can put out. So you got to use the jack on it, or an external way to power it. So we're getting everything hooked up here. So there we go. See the motor spinning up and hits the brakes. That's pretty much the loop. It changes directions and then does the same thing over and over. And here's the O-scope. I'm going to have that up here in the corner and show you the same signal over in the O-scope. Alright, let's get this recorded now too. So essentially we just need to get one of these caps out just to show this. The ends of the legs are hidden underneath these, so we're just going to fold up the MOSFETs here so we can get some access. We're going to just heat those up, drop this out, and hopefully the new one will just pop right in there. We got polarity on here. If we look real close, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but this side's positive and that side's negative. So we'll just make sure that when we put the new one in, that we're you know, doing it the same way anyway. Make this easier on us. I'm not going to use this anyway, so. I don't know if you can get a good angle on this or not, but I'm going to try to get in closer. Use my solder sucker thing and the soldering iron to kind of suck these out. I want to test the original. It's 302 microfarad. ESR is all zero, so it's definitely a good one. 6% V loss. So yeah, not too bad. Let's try our new one. There we go. 338. All zeros for ESR too. But we're actually, got a little more capacitance, and our V loss is lower. we go. Pop this baby in there and we'll move on. It's definitely, it's quite a bit bigger, but you know, it still fits. There we go, nice clean joints. Clip those off and clean this up, and we'll be ready to go. Yeah, I'm going to set all the boards up like this, even the ones that I'm not using right yet. This one I need to also put a new JY01 chip on it, which is right over here. This chip. This is the main driver chip for this. I've stole it off of here at one time. And then I need the, there's a small capacitor that goes over here. That's a low frequency deal, so needs that too, because all of these are in parallel, including the one over here. So, but yeah, this looks pretty good. So we'll stack them up just like that. The other change that I made on these is the resistor. And what I'm doing is I put a resistor through this second line right here, which is the encoder out, and hook a resistor from here to the ground, and then then I have my lead that goes to the ESP32 coming off of this wire out. You could see that on the other one, that's where I was pulling from. So the other thing we get through is the I'm going to put a temperature sensor in here, and this isn't too crazy really. So on this particular one though, this is one of my test setups. I don't have a extra white wire on here, so I'm going to have to feed a wire through to go in here to one lead, but I'm going to show you how to hook it up on this board first. So I think that'll be helpful for other people. And the deal is that coming into this board, there's the red and the black. These are the 5 volts and the ground. The ground goes across to all the different Hall effect sensors. So we can just tap off of here for our ground on this little sensor. So it's not a huge deal to do. This is pretty simple. Just gonna give it a nice big fat blob here to work with. You're gonna excuse my shaky hands. So anyway, some people have already commented on that. That's just the way I am. But anyway, I work around it. So yeah, what we're gonna do is just put the sensor in, like right on one of these coils here. Actually, I'm gonna put it so I don't have to do any craziness here. And I'm just going to glue it right on top. Alright, to put it on, I'm going to use this silicone sealant. It's like electrical grade stuff. I ordered this from AliExpress, so I'll put the link in the description to it. I really like this stuff.
What I do is I'll just put a little blob on the side. I know it's wasting, but there's usually a little bit of extra on the tip there, so I like to have some fresh to mix up. Just kind of, there we go. And just put a nice coating of it here. There we go. Yeah, the key to these temperature sensors is to get it actually pushed into the coils. There we go. Set of old relay on top of there. But anyway, it's making sure that the lead is drying in the correct position there. And we'll just set that aside. I'll show you on this one here. We have this white wire coming out. So what I'm going to do on the main ones that we're running on the actual Rover, I'll solder onto that wire from my second lead, and that gets me moving so I can get it hooked up to here. So I think it covers about everything that I wanted to cover. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in a few weeks.